Hi and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project, we're going to be installing recessed lighting in the ceiling that never had recessed lighting before. So these are examples of what kind of tools we're going to need to get the job started. First off, of course, you're going to need whatever light you're going to use, and you'll need to have a template or a size pattern so you know how big of a hole you're going to be drilling in the ceiling. In this particular case, it came with a template inside the box. That's the size hole we need to do, is 6.3 inches. You're going to need a drill with a drill bit. You're going to need some pliers to cut and strip insulation on wires. We're going to need a utility knife, screwdriver, flashlight, a stud locator, and this is what I'm using to cut the ceiling out so that we have a fairly nice round hole. You can use a hole saw for sheetrock if you have it, but this makes the job go a lot easier, and it's a lot less dust because when you use it, it's actually contained like this. So while you're cutting, all of the dust is falling down inside here, and it's being held in here versus going all over the room. They're fairly inexpensive. There's lots of different brands out there, but look into that. We know the size of the hole that we have to cut, so I did set these teeth here to the location of where I needed. I needed 6.3 inches, which is what I made this. It's actually slightly smaller because I like it to fit nice and tight into the opening. But this is all set right now. So first thing we're going to do now, before we do anything, we're going to put our mask on because you're going to wind up getting some of the dust on you. And we are going to be going in the attic, so you don't want to be breathing insulation because you will be coughing like crazy. And the last thing you're going to need something like this, a piece of wire or anything. Because after we drill the hole in the ceiling, this very small hole here, which is only about 1/8 of an inch, before we open up the hole in the ceiling this big, the 6-inch opening, we're going to take the wire, we're going to put the wire in the hole here, and we're going to go up in the attic to make sure that we have sufficient room for this piece to fit without interfering with one of the beams up in the ceiling, and that's what this is all about. All right, so enough talking. Let's get up here, let's drill this hole, and let's get started. Okay, so now we have our location of where we want to put the hole in the ceiling to put the new fixture in there. But before you drill a hole in the ceiling, only to find out that there's a beam up in the ceiling up here, you want to get in here and you want to take what's called a stud finder, such as this, put it on the ceiling here, turn it on, and you move it, and you can see right there is where there's a stud, or a beam, I should say. There it is not. So we're going to now move it this way. And now we know the stud, or beam, is right here. So we know that there's sufficient room from this point to that point for the new light fixture to fit. All right, so now we're going to get in here, we're going to drill a small little pilot hole exactly where we wanted it, right here. And we're just going to drill very low. All right, now we'll take this out. We'll take this down. Okay, and now we'll take our small piece of wire. Take our small piece of wire like this, put it up here, and you push it up, and now you can feel it hitting the insulation up in the attic. So I'm going to go up into the attic while my assistant pushes this up, so that way we can pinpoint exactly in the attic where we are actually going to make our drill our hole for the new light fixture. All right, so I'm going to go upstairs in the attic. I'm going to take you along, and I'll show you what's up there. Okay, now I know it's going to be a little hard to hear me because I got this mask on, but you don't want to be breathing the insulation from this here. It will start making you choke a little bit, so make sure you wear a mask. Now we're up in the attic, and as you can see, we had to remove a piece of plywood that was covering the area where I think it's going to be. So now I'm going to have my assistant poke that piece of wire through, and we're going to see where it actually is located. I got a feeling it's going to be right here because I did put that one back in there already, and one behind me as well. So now let's take a look and see. Okay, we did do push up and down on it. Okay. Okay, thank you. Take it down. And as you can see now, we have the hole drilled right through here. And we know that the light fixture was actually 6.3 inches. So from the center hole here, we need to have at least 3 inches this way and at least 3 inches this way so we do not interfere with any kind of beams. And as you can see, we have plenty of room right here. Okay? We have at least probably 5 inches right here, so we're good. All right, so now we're going to go downstairs and we're going to drill this hole out, and then we'll continue. Okay, now for now we're just going to put a staple right in this wire right here to hold it in place. Now when you put these in here, you do not hit them till it holds the wire tight. It's just to keep it in place. It's not to pinch the wire at all. All right, so we're going to put this right here for now, and then we're going to go down, we're going to drill that hole, and then we'll cut off the excess, and we'll finish it up right there. All right, so let me go down, and we're going to cut that hole in the ceiling. So now this is our hole that we drilled, and you saw up the top what it looked like. This is the tool here that's going to go on there, and this little piece right here is going to catch all of the dust and the filings that come off of there, and these little teeth right here are going to cut the hole in the ceiling. Now when you're using this, you're going to use it at a slow speed. You don't want to use it too high, because if you're using it at a high speed and it catches, it's going to walk along the ceiling and it's going to destroy the sheetrock that you're working on. So we're going to go in here nice and slow, and we're going to go very easy. Now when you're about halfway through, you want to go real slow, because you don't want the drill or the bit go through very hard and destroy the edges. So nice and easy. And there you go. You can see it's a nice perfect hole cut in the sheetrock. And this is where our fixture is going to go. So we have the hole cut in the ceiling. We have our wire that we just previously ran up on the top right there. We're going to take the wire down here, and we're going to pull it through so we can work with it down here. Now obviously we don't need all this wire, so we're just going to cut off what we don't need. We'll leave us a nice length like that. Take a utility knife, just cut the insulation on the outside and take it apart and separate it, just like this. And that leaves us the 3 wires now that we're going to connect. All right, so we're going to strip off a little bit of the insulation on here, and we're going to use our strippers. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our light fixture, and we're going to attach these wires on there. Now we opened up the cover on the back, and we're going to take our wires out. This is our ground, this is our hot wire, and this is our neutral. We're just going to connect white to white, black to black, and the green is going to connect up to the one that's just copper with no insulation on it whatsoever. All right, now first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up underneath here, and we're going to take out that little plug right there, just like that. Just push it. Take it out, and then this is then trash. We're going to take this small little insulator here, we're going to put it in here just like that, and I will take these wires, we're going to put them all together, and we're going to push them right through here. And we're going to push it through until this insulation part here gets stuck in that plastic little boot. Right like that. Okay, you want to push it so that the insulated part is sticking through here, because now it allows it to come through, but you cannot pull it back out. Okay, so we're going to take our wires now, white, black, and remember this one here is our ground. So we're going to take our white one, and we're going to wrap it around here, just like this. We screw our wire nut on like this. Screw it down until it's tight. And now make sure that your wire is in there nice and tight. So you tug the two white ones to make sure it's tight, because I've seen it many times where you screw this down, it's tight on one, but the other is not in there. So this is nice and tight. We're going to take this, and we're going to push this down, and we're going to recess it down here, out of the way. Just like that. And now we'll take our black wire, put our black wire together with our other black wire, just twist them a little bit, and then we'll put our wire nut on the top of it. You pinch the wires with your one hand, and you turn the nut on with the other, and again, make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. Then we're going to recess this one down and out of the way as well. Just like that. And last, we're going to take our ground wire, and we're going to connect our ground up on here as well. And we're going to use our wire nut again. Make sure they're tight. And then we're going to recess this one back inside here as well, just like that. And then we'll put our cover back on here. Okay, and then this is done. We're going to put a wire up in the ceiling, put these two clips up like this. One clip in here. And then we're going to put our other clip up over here, just like that. And that's it. All right, so this is done here. Now after the one light is in the ceiling, we need to actually have one light jump over to the next light. So we push the wire through the next opening that we previously cut into the ceiling, and now we take the wires and we strip back all of the insulation as we did in the previous light fixture. We're going to pop out these little plastic tabs in the fixture itself. We're going to insert those new pieces that we have that secure the wires in place. We'll push the wires that we stripped down back inside the fixture itself. Remember, you want that rubber to stick inside so it doesn't pull back out. And we'll just shove everything through there. Once that's in, we'll grab the next set of wires and we'll push those wires in as well. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take all of the black wires and we're going to tie them together. You'll have 3 black wires, so we're going to tie all 3 together. We're going to grab a pair of pliers, twist everything. Then we're going to put a wire nut over the top of it to secure everything in place. Once the wire nut's on, we're going to grab the wires. We're going to pull them back and forth just to make sure that they don't come out, that they're nice and tight. And then we're going to proceed over to the white wires. We're going to do the exact same thing with the white wires as well. All right, so we're nice and tight on the black. Push it inside, get it out of the way. Grab our white wires and we'll twist those wires together as well. We're going to grab our wire nut. After we twist the wires together, we'll put our wire nut over the top of it and we'll secure that white wires, all 3 of the white wires together. After you put that cap on, make sure you grab the wires and you give them a tug to make sure that all 3 of the wires are nice and tight underneath there. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take our ground wires and we're going to secure all our ground wires together with the 3 rubber, wrapping them together, put a wire nut over it, and then we're going to recess everything in the box itself on the light and then we're going to put the cover back on the light fixture itself. You want to take your time and make sure that everything is exactly right. Screw your wire nut over the top nice and tight. Push your wires inside the box in the opening that's made for it. Once you have everything pushed in as far as it can go, we take our cover, slide the cover over the top. Snaps in place. Then we take our new light fixture, put it up in the ceiling, push up on the tabs that secure it into the ceiling, and make sure it snaps in place. And then we'll continue with the other two, and we'll get this job wrapped up. So now we have our light fixture in. You can see it's nice and tight inside here. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a staple right in here. You want to check with your local building codes to make sure what your requirements are. But we're going to put another staple right here just to hold this in place. Okay, the last thing we're going to do, push our insulation back down to where it was, like this, and that's it. This job is now done. We put our 4 lights in the ceiling. We wired all the lights in. Next thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to put our wood back over the top here so that this is covered up, and that's it. Now I'm going to explain to you how we made the measurements so we knew exactly where to make the holes in here. Now, before you even get started on anything, you do have to calculate exactly where your light switch is going to be located. Now we have to calculate how can we drill inside that wall, because we only have 3.5 inches in which to drill to put that wire inside the wall, not outside the wall. You want to make sure you get your calculations exactly right. So you want to measure and remeasure before you do any kind of holes in the walls or in the ceilings, because you'll just have to patch them up. All right, so what I did is I went downstairs and I measured from where the staircase over here enters the attic. And I measured over to where I know the center of the hallway is going to be downstairs. Okay, so here is our fixed stairway. We measured over 10 feet, and then we measured another 2 feet, and remember 3.5 inches there. Well, we needed to get to the light fixture over here. So we know the light fixture is a fixed point, so that's what we're looking for. So we can calculate from the center of the light, over to the center of the wall. I'm going to show you how I did that. This is the hall light right here. So we measured from the hall light to the center of the wall where we wanted to put our light switch in. And we knew from the center of the light to the center of the wall, not the end of it, but the very center of the wall, we knew it's 26 inches. So we measured 26 inches from the center of the light to where the center of the wall is, and then we needed to come over 30 inches this way so we could put the switch exactly where it is. All right, I know it sounds confusing, but I'll show you downstairs exactly how I did it. Okay, so we're gonna actually put the outlet for the light that we're putting in the ceiling. We're gonna put them on this side of the wall over here, but we want the height and the depth to be the same as this one here. So we're going to measure in how far it is here to the center of the switch. And then we're going to measure the height from the floor to the center of the switch also, which we got about 51.5. So that's the height. We're going to put it over here. We're going to come up with the height here, 51.5. And we know we were going to be in 5 inches, so that is the center of the box that we're going to put in the wall. This is the box that's going to go in here, so this is where we're going to put the hole in the wall. So we have our spot right there. Now the last thing we're going to do before we start doing anything is we're going to make sure that the beam is nowhere to be found inside the wall. So So we see that's where the beam starts right there. That's where our beam starts. So we know we're going to be in a good spot by putting in the box right here. Okay, so now we're going to take our box that we're going to install on the wall. We're going to put it on here, and we're going to outline exactly where it's going to go, which you can see I did do. Now these marks here really don't mean anything. We're going by the top marks right here and the bottom mark right here. This is the corner here, and this is the corner right there, just like that. Okay, remember, it's always better to make it, the opening, a little bit smaller than making it a little bit bigger, because once you make it bigger, you can't make it smaller. So we're going to have to shave this down a little bit, but for now, we're just going to drill a small little pilot hole right here. And here, all four corners. Okay, so now we have the corner started. We're just going to drill another one here. The reason I did that is we're going to start right here with our drywall tool to cut into the drywall. And now we just work it back and forth nice and easy. And we're going to finish off this cut right here. We'll take this out, and this is our opening right here. And if it's correct, we put a wire through from up the top, and here it is. I will take you upstairs, up in the attic, and I'll show you how we determined where we're going to drill inside the wall, because that's the hardest part of this whole job, is drilling up in the ceiling in the attic and making sure that you come in the center of the wall. Worst thing you can do is miscalculate and drill a hole through the ceiling in the wrong spot. So the wire is here. We're going to take our box now, and we'll see if the box is going to fit correctly in here. So for now, we're just going to put this back in there. Put our box in, and now you can make your final adjustments to get your box in. You can see here we have to cut just a tiny little bit right there. You see how the corner of the box is touching the wall? We're going to take our drywall saw, and we're going to cut it just a little bit, cut a slot right there, and we're going to cut a little slot down in the bottom right here, so that way it'll fit in there perfectly. All right, so let's do that, and we'll continue. Okay, so up in the attic now, you can see we actually made our measurements to figure out exactly where that opening is, so we drilled inside the wall, that we didn't drill outside into the sheetrock area. And as you can see, this is exactly in the wall itself, dead center. And the way you get these calculations so you know where you're going to put your holes in is you have to make your measurements. As you can see, on this particular one, I did a measurement from the stairway, which is a fixed position. The stairway, we came over 10 feet, and then we know we went 2 feet further to get to the wall, and we know the wall is 3.5 inches thick. So we know we went from that staircase right there, we came over here 10 feet, and you can see our mark. Our mark is right here, 10 feet. And then from that 10 feet, we came over 2 feet more, and that gave us our 12 foot right here, so we know it's 12 feet. So that brings us exactly inside to the very edge of the wall itself. And then we know the wall itself is 3.5 inches or 4 inches thick. So we came in 10 feet, 2 feet, and we have 3.5 or 4 inches. So and that's how we determine the location of the wall itself. Okay? And then just to confirm it, we drilled a very small pilot hole through. We drilled a very small pilot hole in the wall just to make sure it was in the correct location. And then after we did that, we came in with a much thicker bit, and we drilled right through there, and we put our wiring down in here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to run this wiring through the attic, and we're going to pick up a power source over there, and we're going to tie the wires in right there. Okay, so now we stick our wires through the box like this here on the top. You can see they go right through here. We push them through, and then we take our box and we put it up inside the wall here like this, push it in, and these tabs you push down and the bottom tab up, and now when we screw this in place, you'll see that tab, it's going to turn, come up like that, and tighten up and hold the wall right here, and it'll keep the box steady. All right, so let's rotate it, put it in place, just like this, push it in, and now we're going to snug these down. You're not going to tighten them up real tight because it's only made of plastic, and they can break very easily. Okay? Just till it feels like it's snug, and then we'll do the exact same thing here. Okay. And now our box is in. Our wiring is now in here as well. Then we'll finish up our work in the attic, and then we'll come back, put our switch on here, and then we'll get this job all wrapped up. Okay, and this is how you wire up the dimmer switch that we're going to be using. This is the particular switch that we're using. There's lots of different brands out there, but this is the one we're using. This particular one is either a three-way or a single, and as we use it here, we're going to use it as a single. So this one we have to cap off. This is the red with the white tracer. We don't use this one. We just cap it off, and we tuck it in the back of the box. Now we have our black wire here, connects to our black wire from our power feed here. The red wire that comes out of the switch here, and it goes into the wires that lead up to the light fixtures here, 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 and here. All right, so what we do is that this red one now is the one that actually turns it off and on, and it'll dim it. Our white leads from both sides here, the one lead that goes up to the fixture and the one that brings the neutral, we tie those together here. And the last thing we did is we took our ground from the switch itself and we connected it up with the grounds that we tied together from these two wires here. And that's it, it's done. We obviously are going to tuck these wires back inside here, and we're going to put our cover over the top of it, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. But this is how it works. Turns it on. And then the dimmer makes it brighter and dimmer. And then, of course, we can just turn them off altogether, and then the dimmer works here as well. All right, so we're going to put the switch back inside the wall, and we'll finish it up. Okay, so here's the lights. As you can see, very, very bright. And then the dimmer, you can make it brighter or darker. And then, of course, you can turn it off and on. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.